Sunday night comes along and my daughter loses a tooth.
Oh, God.
So I go to my wallet. I have a dime. You cannot just leave a dime for a kid. I sat my daughter down and I said, honey, I have to tell you something. And I don't know how to tell you this. And I just started sobbing. And I said, there is no such thing as the tooth fairy. I am so sorry, but I don't have any money. She looks at me and says, thank God.
I'm here with my good friend Brenda Siri, and we're here to talk about becoming better ancestors.
Sometimes as parents, we think the expectation is way different than what it is for the child.
You forget that they're children.
Yeah. People who come from dysfunctional families, we tend to always have this undying hope that we will be, one day they're going to see how great we really are.
Yeah.
When we come from dysfunction, if we make choices to rise above it and not let the cycle continue, we can have better families. When you have a dysfunctional parent who goes through some kind of illness that's traumatic, that changes their personality, it's the gift.
It reveals probably what's been buried underneath.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is TV, and welcome to the Becoming Better Ancestors podcast. I'm here with my good friend Brenda Siri, and we're here to talk about becoming better ancestors. And we already are, because we are grandparents.
Yep.
Thanks, kid. My producer is in the house, and she happens to be my child. So we are grandparents.
We are.
Tell me what that's been like for you. What has that helped you learn about yourself?
Well, I think it starts with my grandmother. I adored my grandmother. She was my best friend growing up.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, she had a crazy daughter. My mother was a very dysfunctional mother. And so my grandmother was my saving grace. I was told every summer, it's time to go to grandma's. As soon as school got out, I got taken to grandma's, got dropped off and picked back up when it was time to go to school. So I got every summer with her and I loved her so much. And we shared birthdays. Her birthday was 2 days before mine. And, I cherished my time with her. And so I knew that I wanted my grandchildren to feel the same way about me, right? So she was my role model for how to be a grandmother. Not everybody has that.
No.
I got lucky. So, yeah.
Good for you. That's a really beautiful story. I'm already getting emotional. It's kind of crazy.
That's okay.
Yeah. This is the podcast for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know my grandparents.
Okay.
And we're born in Mexico. We immigrated here, so they stayed, obviously. And I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I actually did know them as an infant, such as a young child, but I don't remember much about them. And most of what I do remember or have been told isn't the greatest.
Okay.
Tough times, tough people, economically there, as you can imagine, like it was here during those times. So it was a little heartbreaking. The ironic thing is I'm named after my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And I don't have it. I should have just left it out. I have one photo of him, and I just shared it in the group. I photoshopped it. That's how I actually was part of my Photoshop education when I first started learning.
Yeah.
So I photoshopped it and I added myself next to him since I'm named after him.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I look like him.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I, like you, was born. I was born one day before him. So his birthday is the September 8th. Mine was September 7th. My dad named me after him.
Yeah.
For that reason. But I didn't have a connection with him. Yeah. And it's something that to bring it back home, is I really want it. I want it for my grandchildren. Obviously want with my children.
Yeah.
But wanted a strong connection to them. I love that you had a role model.
Yeah.
That you had a role model as to how you wanted to show up, and what I imagine you wanted them to feel about you the way you felt about your grandmother.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how do you think that's manifesting itself with them?
My grandmother was very, very poor. She, was born in 1909. She was the youngest of 9 children. grew up in a poor family and continued to be very poor as an adult. And my parents made money in a business that they owned. And so my mother bought my grandmother this, for all intents and purposes, very fancy trailer, the fanciest one in the trailer park. And, but in her heart, my grandmother was who my grandmother was,
Right.
regardless of the house.
Right.
Right. And so when I would go there, my step grandfather, the man that she was married to, worked in the cotton fields. He picked cotton. And I would stay with my grandmother all day, and she was very regimented. There was always a routine of getting up and, making his breakfast and making his lunch and getting him out the door, and then doing the dishes all by hand, of course, no dishwasher. Then you have to clean the whole house, and then you have to take a morning break to have a snack, and then you finish cleaning the house and the laundry, and then you have lunch.
Wow.
And then the whole afternoon was about us playing games. And games are something that is very important to me. I've always made sure that my children played a lot of board games. They weren't stuck in front of a television with video games. Occasionally they could, but for the most part, I want, that interaction that you get from playing games with your kids. And I do that now with my granddaughter and my grandson. It's board games, or my granddaughter right now is really into tea parties. So we have tea parties, right? Or whatever. But there's that interaction, that says, hey, I love you. I'm paying attention to you. I'm getting on your level.
Right.
And that's what my grandma did with me. And I just think it goes a long way to building important memories.
I love that. Play.
Yeah.
That's going to be in my book that I eventually write. You have to play. And the fact that you got that from your grandmother at such an early age and it's embedded in you is a beautiful thing, because we don't play. We don't play as adults. And I have this just general thought around, what's the point then? Mm-hmm. Play it looks different to different people. It could be actually playing a game, shooting a basketball, swinging a bat.
Sure.
It's playing tea parties with your kid. But having that part in your life, I think, is essential. Because we work really hard, but where's the fun? Where's the play? And the fact she did that for you is fantastic, because you then feel like you needed to have it. Yeah. There's that ripple effect through the generations. And that moment, she created something beautiful that you are also playing out. And it's kind of one of the core concepts of this show is becoming better ancestors, or doing things as ancestors, little things. Mm-hmm. They only had, your grandmother was poor.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter, because she could still play and still be. And I feel that I think too many people, I don't know. It was my experience has been in the past. I don't wander too much out there. But a lot of parents, unfortunately, try to make up for what they didn't have.
Right.
And I've heard friends of mine actually say, like, well, I'm going to give them everything that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And I can respect that. But what about the connection?
Right.
Like, you can buy things, and I applaud you if you can. Yeah. But if it doesn't replace the connection and actually playing and getting down on their level, like you said.
Right.
And I feel like it's becoming probably more and more a problem, because now you have video games that are prominent in the homes. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing to continue to foster that within your family?
So we try every other Sunday, as long as everybody has time, to get together as family and, eat a meal together, have conversation together, and find a way to play games, whatever the games may be. Right.
We need to do more of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's my family really enjoys it. My adult children, have you tried, going to one of those game show places?
No.
Super fun. Highly recommend it. So we left the kids behind and went to this place where you can play like Family Feud and
Are you kidding?
Or Price is Right or Jeopardy, and it's really fun, and you compete as a family against each other. So we sort of split spouses and children up. So it's not spouses playing together because they know each other so well. Right. So I don't know. I mean, it's like we walked out of it. We were all like, that was so much fun. That was such a great time, because, it's just like what you said, sometimes we forget to just have fun. So for us and our family, it's something that we do regularly. Just making sure that we all stay connected as much as we can in some way. And, cause we, all too often get too busy, and before you know it, your grandkids are half grown and you're getting older and, and then they're teenagers and they don't want anything to do with you.
And forget about it. The game's over.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things that happened to me is I grew up poor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I also got divorced and then became poorer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that possible?
Oh,
but I say that because I really got to appreciate the small things. And it's something I would like to encourage people, parents who might be watching, new parents, old parents, is just doing things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I think we did really well as a family, because I didn't have money.
Mm-hmm.
When you met me, so for context, we spoke about this on the other show. We'll have a link in the description, the marketing show. We met 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But I was still freshly divorced.
Right.
So I was still going through all that. And I think I feel like when we first met and like we went to your house and swam in the saltwater pool, was during summer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was a way for us to hang out and get to know each other. And because I had my daughters for the summer, they could also join. It was kind of the thing we did. But being poor, being like just, let's say, down on my luck a little bit and building a business, I had to be really good about finding things to do that didn't cost money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One of our traditions was every week we had at least one thing we would do on Saturday or Friday. And then on Sundays, meaning like maybe we go out, we might go to Austin, we might go to San Antonio, we might go to Oklahoma. But we would also just play, on Sundays, we go to the park. Mm-hmm. We'd have basketball, we have sandwiches and Cheetos. It was the most inexpensive thing I could do because that's all I could afford.
Right.
So sometimes not having resources is the best thing because it forces you, if you want to be, I guess, if you want to be resourceful and be creative and ultimately just have that moment to connect and not just be distracted.
I mean, didn't you learn in that process that really all that mattered was that you were focused on your kids? That's what they wanted. They didn't care if you were at Disneyland. Yeah. They wanted you and your focus, Yeah. So I'll tell you a funny story.
Please do.
Well, so it kind of has a sad lead in, but
okay.
So, I was married, and had my oldest son, got divorced, got real poor like you did because.
So it
wasn't just you.
Okay. Thank you. Today's episode of Becoming Better Ancestors is brought to you by me. That's right. TV the Marketer, founder of Rockstar.Marketing, where we help small businesses stop being invisible and start becoming unforgettable. That's what you are. If you run a local business and you're tired of throwing money away on ads that don't work or worse, trusting your cousin's friend who does marketing on the side, it's time to call in the pros. We do digital advertising, video marketing, AI integrations, and strategy that actually gets results. No fluff, no excuses, just ROI. Head on over to www.rockstar.marketing. It's a real thing. And let's make some marketing magic happen.
Got remarried and had 2 more children, and that husband committed suicide. So I then had 2 young children to raise by myself, and I was establishing a career, but I certainly wasn't as established as I am today. And so I too had to be creative about things, and I really lived paycheck to paycheck. Seriously, paycheck to paycheck. And a Sunday night comes along and my daughter loses a tooth.
Oh God, I would have lost it.
And I'm like, oh God, do I have any cash anywhere? So I go to my wallet. I have a dime. You cannot just leave a dime for a kid. Hello, everybody's getting more than a dime. I go into my closet. I start going through all of my purses to see if I can dig up just enough change to be the tooth fairy. I couldn't do it. I didn't have it. And I didn't know what to do. And so I took my daughter, who was 5, and thinking about this, and now I have a granddaughter that's going to be 5 in a few weeks. It's crazy. I sat my daughter down and I said, honey, I have to tell you something.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know how to tell you this. And I just started sobbing. And I said, there's no such thing as the tooth fairy. I am so sorry, but I don't have any money. And your parents say that they're the tooth fairy. And I'm just devastated that I am having to tell this young girl. She looks at me and says, thank God. She said, it has always freaked me out.
Oh my God.
A little fairy flying under my floor, then going under my pillow and taking my teeth. So I'm really glad to know it's not real.
Oh my God.
But I tell you that story to say that sometimes as parents, we think the expectation is way different than what it is for the child.
You forget that they're children.
Yeah.
That they're like, I think about this in the sense that a lot of parents, some parents lose control of their kids. Mm-hmm. They're 3 or 4 years old. They're already lost control. I'm like, you're the adults. Mm-hmm. How does that happen? And I get it.
Right.
They can be rambunctious and whatnot, but you set the rules and the boundaries and you create the stories and the traditions and the tooth fairy. Like clearly there's been some assumptions been made on your part and her part, and she's scared to death.
Yeah.
But you draw up the universe and the world for them, right? And I love, for me, that story also speaks to just being honest.
Yeah. I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
Because you were falling apart.
Yeah.
Like this is
I felt like I completely let my child down.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm on the flip side of that. I'm like, oh no, I'm never telling them there's a tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Your mom might tell you.
Yeah.
My producer's my daughter. Your mom might tell you. And I didn't tell them about Santa Claus either. I refuse to let that fat guy take credit for my presents that I scrounged together. Some change to get them. To your point, I was so poor. Yeah. You're a fantastic human being.
Thank you.
It's always been sweet to know you. You're good people. Your son, by the way, I don't know if you know this.
I do know.
He helped me in a tough time.
Yeah.
Oh, I might get emotional. So I don't know if you know this, but her son sold me, and at the time, I think he's relatively new to selling cars, and he's kind of a rookie, and you connected me to him, and he helped me out. And at the time, I was like, I really need a car. I don't care. I know my credit is terrible. I don't care what the interest is because I'm going to pay it off early. That's the commitment I made to myself.
Yeah.
So he sat there with me and we had a full day trying to go back and forth. And I didn't even care what car I got.
Yeah.
But he sat there and got the deal done over time. Ended up getting the Nissan Sentra, the red one, out of, up
Irving,
north, HEB, Hewlin.
Yeah.
I would say it was Grubbs. But I really was grateful to him, and I know that I was of value to him too. But he sat there and he made it work and made it work. I'm like, I know it's going to be a terrible deal. Stop trying to give me a good deal. It is what it is. Like I told you, I had horrible credit.
Yeah, but you were also a single dad, and he was raised by a single mom. And I think in the back of his mind, he knew you were trying to do something for your daughters, for yourself, and he wanted to make sure that he was doing something that also would help your family.
He definitely, I to this day, I'm so grateful for him.
Yeah.
Because I think it was 8 or 9 hours back and forth. He'd bring another car. I'm like, I don't care. And this is a great car.
Yeah.
But can I afford it? I know, and I can even give him a deposit, which I know that you don't even necessarily need to give. Yeah. I've learned that. Yeah. Like I can't give you a deposit. Yeah. But I will pay it. So give me whatever interest. I know like 20-25% interest. It was ridiculous. But that's the deal he got me. And to your point, I do feel like he had a tenderness for me. He knew that I wasn't just trying to screw him around. But,
yeah.
And so thank you. I've never got a chance to thank you for raising a good man, good son. And I've maintained some contact with him. He's a good human.
He is. Wears his heart on his sleeve.
But yeah, he does. Mm-hmm. But we've all had our stories to get here, right? Mm-hmm. You just mentioned just a couple already.
Yeah.
How do you feel? And then if you're willing to share pieces of it, how do you feel that has impacted and helped shape who you are today?
Well, I was raised by an incredibly verbally abusive mother, some physical abuse too, more verbal than anything. I never really felt loved by my mother, fortunately. or unfortunately. My mother, in the last year of her life, told me she wished I'd never been born.
Oh, wow.
That was tough. But also it kind of was like, okay, well, that makes sense because I never really, it definitely tracked with me.
Right. You didn't imagine it.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of the verbal abuse was things like, you're fat, you're ugly, don't go out in public without makeup on.
Oh.
Nobody will want to see you that way. You know, just really, really tough, hard-hitting words. When I was 11, my sister died. She was 25 years old.
Oh.
She got a form of cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which attacks people in their 20s typically. And she got it and it killed her. And for the first year, we moved 6 times because my mother just couldn't find a place for us to live that wouldn't take away her broken heart. And I went to 6 different schools. I was in the 7th grade. I went to 6 different schools between the 7th and 8th grade.
Wow.
All over the state of California. We weren't making like a little move down the street. We were moving. And all throughout those moves in that time, you know, I really lost my mom. Like I became the mom and my mom became the one that needed to be taken care of.
Yeah.
There was no time for me to grieve the loss of my sister. My mother was doing the grieving for everybody. Now, as an adult, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot imagine losing one of my children. There's just no possible way I couldn't. I just don't think I could. But I bore the consequences of that, you know? And my sister, she could just sew. Like, you're an artist. I look at the artwork and I just think, I don't know how you or anyone can make something so beautiful. Yeah. My sister could sew. Like, we could go to a store and my sister could see this outfit and then just buy material and go home and make it out of pattern. You know, she would make her own patterns.
Very artistic.
She was very, very artistic that way. Her drawers in her dresser looked like, you know, the inside of the Gap. I mean, everything was perfectly folded and put away. I mean, I was a kid. My stuff thrown in, right? And my mother would yell at me, you know, why can't you be like her?
Oh my God.
You know, so it was such a hard time. But what happened in that is it pushed me in a crazy way, right? That, well, I'm not her, but I could be something good. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe you wish I wasn't born. Maybe you think I'm fat and ugly, but I can be something. I can be somebody. I think it like stirred this fire inside of me to prove my worth to her.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. So, it was tough. Really, really tough.
I can imagine. There's a few things you said there. I think I literally just had this conversation with someone, where the parent, where she was a good child, perceived as a good child, and she was basically weaponized her against the siblings. Can she be more like her? And it's just, as parents, we have to avoid that. That's just not a good strategy. I understand the reason for it, like motivate them, but it just creates tension. It creates resentment, and both parties. Like, why you compare me? Yeah. It's hurtful. And their children. That's not gonna. I don't think that's a good motivating tactic.
No.
Other than creating anxiety, resentment amongst each other. And the other thing I really wanted to touch on that you mentioned is something about you made some decision as a child. So I had a rough childhood, as we can all attest to. We all have had.
Yeah.
My father, at one point, I've always been a scrambler. I'm an immigrant, and I was also the first one to speak English.
Okay.
So I ended up being the translator for everyone, for everything. I help people get out of jail.
Wow.
6, 7, 8. I'm in jail trying to translate. My uncle's in here, my tio's in here. We're here to post bail.
Yeah.
I had to translate, or any document that came in, I'm already translating. I get slapped if I didn't get it right, or if I didn't get it, or don't know what to. Like, I think about my nephews, my grandson. Obviously, he's a little younger, but being that age, like they don't know anything about anything.
Right.
So that expectation, I know English, but I don't know all that English.
Right.
There's so much I would go into there, but there's a point where I get to high school and my dad says to me, I'm going to take you to school. Now, as an adult, I think he felt that I was responsible enough trying to defend him and think for him. And like, he figured it out on your own. But way I heard it is like, I don't care if you go to school, don't go to school.
Right.
You figure it out.
Right.
I'm going to graduate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to finish this thing.
Yeah.
And I refuse to not do well. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do well. Like, there's something in my own little head that said, I'm going to prove to you that I can, and I'm going to prove to the world that I can. I don't know how, but there's this fire inside of us that I suppose fires up for some of us. Because I've been asked, like, how do you do? You mentioned, what's it here? You didn't go to school for HR. This is your profession.
Right.
Well, I didn't go to school for marketing.
Right.
I had to figure it out.
Right.
And now there's marketing degrees.
Sure.
Somewhere along the way, I was going to figure it out and have continued to figure it out. And I guess that's, for me, looking back, you have perspective now.
Yeah.
I think that actually served me because I always had this, I'm going to figure it out attitude.
Right.
And to this day, it's paying off.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
It's crazy how that works. And I'll use this to kind of bring it back to this is I watched a documentary, and it's the story of this Olympian female boxer.
Okay.
It's a really tragic situation where she was molested as a child. But she ended up becoming a boxer, and she is vicious.
Like, getting that anger out.
Does that happen if she doesn't go through that?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting how we sort of pick ways to fix some of those wrongs, right? I mean, I think that, like, I think about, today I've shown my mother she didn't want me to be a teacher. Now I'm a professor, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, I just think some of that kind of naturally happens without us even planning for it to. Just like you said, I showed my dad. I finished. And now I'm successful.
Yeah. It's funny because I always want it. You want your parents to approve.
Yeah.
You want parents to love
Always.
you. Want to prove your worth and prove your value. And it took me till I was like, right before I quit my job, actually. I had quit my job, and I was a trainer. I was a training specialist at Mingert's, and I taught leadership and management. But I was divorced and broke.
Yeah. So why not just start a new company?
Yeah. And I'm living in their garage.
Yeah.
At the time, and sleeping on the floor.
Oh, wow.
And I come to him and I'm like, Dad, I'm trying to start working on myself and moving past the resentment that I had built. And I love my dad. And
sure.
For all intents and purposes, he did the best job he could. So I come to him like, Dad, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working on. And I'm building something. And he's like, you know what, son? You know what I don't understand? Is why are you sleeping on the floor? I'm like, no, we're not. Well, Pops, like, I'm rebuilding my life and I don't care if I sleep on the floor. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about that.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, he doesn't get it. It is completely outside his worldview. What I do, I'm like, Dad, I teach people.
Yeah.
I'm in front of people teaching lessons and leadership and management and parenting, almost like some of that stuff is parenting.
Yeah.
And people like my classes, and they're like, yeah, I don't understand why you're sleeping on the floor, though. Oh, you don't understand. I have to take away from, that's something I talk about a lot, is the expectation that he should understand and therefore appreciate and love me for. And I think once I lower that expectation, like, my dad just doesn't understand. He's old man from Mexico, born in Mexico in those old times with old points of view. So me trying to get him to understand is pointless.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is I think that people who come from, dysfunctional families, we tend to always have this hope, this undying hope that we will be one day one day they're going to see how great we really are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I never thought one day my mom will change the way she is.
Yeah.
I never thought that, but I did hope that one day maybe she'd love me more, love me differently, not say such mean things to me.
Till the last day.
And I finally got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you that, but my mom got dementia.
Okay.
And, yeah, it was a long road. And just in the last 6 or 7 weeks of her life, I attribute it to this. My mother had come from a very difficult background. She'd been through some pretty horrible abuse from her own father. And I just think the dementia took enough of her mind, those bad things that happened, away, that the root of who my mother might have always been, had she not been through those experiences, she might have been a better ancestor. She might have been a better mother. She might have been a better grandmother. Because I saw a different woman those last few weeks. You know, she talked different to me. She told me she loved me. You know, things that and she sounded like a mom, like she really meant it. You know what I mean? I mean, this is also the same lady that looked at my daughter one day in the 3rd grade. My kids, it was go to school in your school clothes. And when you're home, you wear your play clothes. You don't mess up your school clothes. And so she threw on a pair of jeans that had a ripped knee, and my mother happened to be there and told her she looked like a slut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Is that where those words just got tossed around so much back?
You know.
Just called your grandkid that.
Yeah, she taught. So, you know, I think that when we come from dysfunction, if we make choices to rise above it and not let the cycle continue, we can have better families, right? And I think that you've done that, TV. You took the things that you experienced from your time growing up and said, I'm going to do it different. And I did too, you know, and are we perfect? Not necessarily. But are we better? Are we trying to become better ancestors? Yeah.
Better, yeah. It's funny. My father had a stroke. Boy, did he change.
Nicer guy?
So much nicer.
Isn't that crazy?
He wants hugs. He wants kisses. He wants to be called often. He calls me sometimes and he says, I just wanted to hear your voice. And I'm like, who the hell are you? I don't recognize you, because I remember him being very vicious and hateful, and I just get out of my face. Lárgate la chingada. This is a really common word in the Spanish Mexican vernacular. La chingada, vete la chingada, lárgate la chingada. Means get the Adam.
I should get the F-bomb right there.
Yeah, essentially is.
It's one of the first Spanish words I learned.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so then after the stroke to witness and have him tell me that he wants to see me, that he misses me, I'm like, oh, this is strange. Hey there, it's me again. This episode, in case you forgot, of the Becoming Better Ancestors is sponsored by yours truly. I'm TV, the guy behind Rockstar.Marketing. We help purpose-driven businesses go from best kept secret to everybody's talking about them, using digital ads, compelling video, and marketing that actually works. If you got a message that matters but need help getting it heard, we should talk. Head over to www.rockstar.marketing and let's make you impossible to ignore.
I have a different perspective for you, because I too, when my mother was towards the end of her life, and I was like, who is this lady? And where have you been my whole life? That's what I wanted growing up. But what I realized is that's the gift. That's the gift that you get when you have a dysfunctional parent who goes through some kind of illness that's traumatic, that changes their personality. It's the gift.
It reveals probably what's been buried underneath.
Yes, exactly.
I do think that on some level, it's some protection mechanism, right? To protect them from the world that's hurt them.
Yeah.
And I do believe my father was thinking he could beat me into being a better man. I just don't think that ever really works.
No.
Even in old times, I don't think that necessarily worked. The argument can be made about beat them to be good men or good. I don't think that worked. It just eventually just made them hard, I suppose, and whatnot. But I don't think it made them better men. To your point, I definitely I took the approach that I did have choices. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. My parents forget. My mom, I feel like she has a mindset. They call it the fixed mindset, I think.
Mhm.
I think and she's older. She's 82, 83. So this idea that we can adapt and become better, I think, is like outside of their worldview and their lens of reality. Whereas we're smarter now, right?
Right.
We can adapt. We can change. We can choose. You don't have to be the same version of yourself that you were 10 years ago. You can continue evolving.
Right. At least you should continue.
You should. We all know that now. And I think that's something that I really took to heart. And the reason for the name of the podcast, Becoming Better Ancestors, is we are somebody's ancestors. It's like, obviously you have grandchildren now. Their children are going to feel the ripples of the moments that you had with them. I used to play with my grandma.
Yeah.
It was simple stuff. We used to play tea. We used to drink tea, tea parties.
Right.
And I decided to do that with that in mind. Like, they're going to tell stories about me. And I want to make sure I'm going to be dead. So I won't know for sure. But I want to ensure that the likelihood of it being positive and insightful, and that they can teach them our games, that we have control, more control than we give ourselves credit for. And it's tough.
Right.
Because you have to fight your natural inhibitions.
And sometimes you're just tired too, you know?
I've said that too. Like, it's easier to just, get the hell away from me. I just want to watch. It's been a long day. The world is beating me up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to like really compartmentalize and make sure you have that energy. My granddaughter was over one day and we were playing Candyland, and she was getting kind of bored with it, you know? And so instead of playing the game, she just wanted us to play with the little people and start talking.
She changed the game.
You changed the game.
Yeah.
So then I changed the game.
Yeah.
And I said, do you want to come to my swimming pool? And her little character was like, okay. So we went. It was a rainy day, so we were kind of trapped inside, you know? So we went in the bathroom, and I put my little purse in the sink, and I said, this is my swimming pool. And I put a little water in the bottom, of the sink, and just let the little guy go. And I'm like, wee, all the way down. And man, like, it's been months now since we did this. And she's like, do you want to go play with the gambling people in the bathroom? I made my own game out of it, but she loved it. And I guarantee you there will be a day.
There will be.
She'll be a grandmother.
And she'll teach that game.
Yes.
That's the specific game that you just created and invented. We need to remember that everything we make, we can make up stuff.
Yeah.
We can play pretend with them. They don't care. It's just beautiful. Yep. Once you realize that you don't even have, I think we may have already said this, but you don't have to have toys.
No. You
can play pretend with the children because their imagination is the toy.
Yes.
And the moment you realize that, you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
But to your point, it takes energy.
Yeah.
It takes time. And in defense of our parent, they didn't have that.
Right.
They didn't have that privilege. As I hope that they could have mustered it, but they didn't have the privilege. I actually have thought about this as well. I think they were always hangry.
They might have been.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Like, the world's beating them up: economy, politics, job market, trying to find a job. My parents were immigrants. But they were also hungry.
Yeah.
So what can we do? What kind of how do we show up as humans when we are hangry now?
Yeah.
I feel like most of the arguments that we have with most people are because we're hungry. I tend to ask my girlfriend, like, have you eaten?
Interest.
Wait, I haven't eaten. Like, will take away probably half of the arguments. It's a theory.
Yeah.
But I feel like just taking that into account and thinking of our parents, that economically they were poor.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you sacrifice, or what we're scrambling to feed the kids?
Right.
So I'm just trying to be patient and loving. And that's one of the things and understanding. That's okay. That happened. So it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, some very bad things happened. I was left in charge of, I had three siblings. I was in charge.
Yeah.
I'm like, the moment I was 6 or 7, like, as soon as
you were the interpreter, you helped people get out of jail, you're taking care of the kids.
I'm feeding them. I'm making sure that we clean up the house. So
exhausting for a child. Yeah.
Like, how do you put that on a kid? But when you have a choice, you don't have the funds, and like, it is what it is. And it's not, my story is very common. It's not uncommon. And it's fascinating when you look at it from that lens. I'm like, okay, but we can do better now. All right. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting us here. Thanks for, leaving the rock here. I got it from here.
Yeah.
So
But that it made you a more responsible man, though. And
yes,
I mean, I think that there's always a lesson in everything we go through, right?
you got to find it. You got to sift through it.
You got to be willing to.
Yeah.
And some people aren't.
Yeah. Cause it's easier to be angry.
Yeah.
It's easier to just, and I think everyone has a right to be angry, but at some point we got to also understand. If not, maybe you don't forgive, but you understand.
Yeah.
And then you can do your work.
Right.
Right. You do what it takes to become a better ancestor, to make better choices. They made the choices. We need to make better ones.
Right. I agree.
I wanted to ask you about your book.
Okay.
Please tell me about your other book.
Okay. So I wrote a book called Why Are You My Grandmother? I'll start by saying.
Okay. That title got me already.
My grandchildren do not call me grandma. They call me Gigi, which is French for grandma.
Okay.
I wrote the book about my first grandchild. So I have a son who will be 30 years old in November, and he has been very troubled most of his life. He has been in and out of prison many times. He is a drug addict. He's not made good choices. He was not raised that way, but those are the choices that he's made for his life. And 10 years ago, my son said, "Mom, are you sitting down? I have something I need to tell you." Actually, this was about 11 years ago. And, I think when you hear that kind of news, you just kind of go, "Oh, I know what's coming."
You get a drink too.
Yeah. He said, I've gotten a girl pregnant. She's not my girlfriend. It's kind of one of those things that happened. I've asked her to have an abortion. She won't do it. She's going to have this baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then, I don't know, a month later, he calls and says, "Hey, good news. She had a miscarriage. No baby coming. False alarm." And I'm like, thank you. This kid does not need to have a kid. And then, mid-May? No, mid-April. Mid-April rolls around. I get another phone call.
Oh, no.
"Well, Mom, I lied. She didn't have a miscarriage. The baby's coming. And it's a boy. And she's due in 6 weeks."
Oh. Be further along than...
This baby's about to be born. And I mean, I don't know this girl. They're down in Austin. And so I asked if I could meet her somehow. And so I met her on Skype. Skype.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember what was this? Yeah. What was back then? Met her on Skype, and she seemed very shy. She's a young Hispanic girl, very young girl, and she seemed shy and didn't know me from Adam, but she's carrying my grandchild. And I just took the approach of, how could I maybe help you in any way? Have you had a baby shower? Is anything I can do to maybe help make sure that you're ready for this baby to come? And I would love to know this child, but that's your call. Because I know she's not in a relationship with my son, and I don't blame her. But I took that approach. Just know that I will be here if I can have him in my life. And I also had to be very careful. She was under the age of 18. I, kind of felt like I had a responsibility to talk with her mother and make sure her mother would be okay. There were lines that were fine. Yeah. Anyway, she ended up having him. Her mother called and let me know that he was born. And I said, if there's ever an opportunity, we would love to meet him. A week later, we were invited to Austin to go meet my grandson, my first grandchild. And it started a long relationship, a lifetime of love with this little boy who I wasn't expecting, who I didn't get to see that often because we didn't live in the same city. So we made it a point to see each other about every 3 months.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I knew and would talk with his mother about is at some point, he's going to wonder who this lady is in his life, right? Because he's calling me Gigi. He's not calling me grandmother or grandma.
Right.
There's no dad figure there. And at some point, when you get to that point in school where kids start talking about their families, he's going to be like, well, who's she? You know? So I wrote this book because one day I thought, Caden, that's my grandson, is not the only child on this planet with these circumstances.
Yeah.
And I am not the only grandmother out there with these circumstances. And so I wrote the book from the perspective of a child so that you can sit and read it with the child. So it's in Caden's voice about who I am and how he knew me and how we came to be a family, and how we had to finally discuss that I'm actually his grandmother and that his dad is not in a place to be in his life, but he still has a family that loves him. And he's still a very blessed young man because he has two grandmothers and a loving mother, and that's really what it's all about.
Oh, that's deep on so many levels. Kudos to you. I applaud you for creating a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And thinking ahead and about that conversation.
Yeah. I will tell you there is a full circle moment in this as well, in that Caden's mother is an excellent, excellent artist. And she did all of the illustration for the book.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's my story through her son's eyes and her artwork. And all of it is pictures. It's real pictures that she took and turned them into, the book.
So it's safe to assume you have a good bond with him since that conversation as well? Like, how did that play out?
Well, we have always had a beautiful relationship, and I'm just an honest human being. And I will tell you that right now, his mother isn't speaking to me or to our family. She's a young lady who got thrust into adulthood very, very quickly with Caden, and she's wanting to spread her wings right now, and maybe just isn't making decisions that I would make, but I know she's a good mother. She loves my grandson, and I am, as a family, we are stepping back and giving her the space and pray that one day, she'll feel the need to reach back out to us. So it's been hard because he's been very, very important to our whole family.
This brings up another thought, and I've shared this with you before. Life is messy.
Yeah, sure is.
There's this forward and backwards, one step forward, two steps back. There's never a true, we imagine it like we're always moving forward.
Yeah.
It's
not
messy.
perfect.
It's not perfect. I thought about this. This thought came to mind to me when I was doing a genealogical research. And in doing that, like, oh my goodness, like what's happening here? I'm trying to map the family. And it makes it crystal clear that everything that's happening today, as messy as it is, it's always been this way.
Oh, yeah.
Probably more so.
Yeah.
Because people would get away with more things, and they were unspoken, and families were being broken, adulterous affair, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me appreciate, like, okay, it's not right, or I don't agree with it, right? To your point. But it is what it is, and it's always been the same. It's going to be a little messy, and the best thing you could do is do the right thing, the best thing in the moment, and be loving for the individuals. And I guess what made me even feel, to go back to that for a second, how messy it is that there are people that are having children, and like they're all over here, and then they're over here. I'm like, oh crap, that's okay. We're all doing the best we can. We're trying to feel love and compassion in moments, and it's messy. It's just messy.
I have a quick genealogy story.
Please share it.
So I took a DNA test when my daughter was high school, because my mother had always told me that we were Cherokee Indian. I know I look just like I would be, right? that we were Native American and that, you know, she believed she was born in Oklahoma and her dad had separated from her life very young. And I think that's where she was told that that was the case. So I did a DNA test because I'm like, hey, if we are, I think there are benefits for my daughter for college. So I might as well do it. What the heck? So I did it and came back in the zero.
Yeah.
Not one bit. But I learned a lot about myself and my genealogy and that was cool. And then my mother died, in 2018. And a week after my mother died, I got this message, through Ancestry. And it was this guy in Arizona. And he says, hi, Brenda, I think, our DNA match shows that I'm your third cousin. And he starts giving me enough details. He gives me the name of my great grandmother. He gives me the name of my grandfather, my mother's father. I'm like, oh, guy's probably legit, right? And I told him, I said, hey, he wanted information about my grandfather. And I said, hey, so my mom just died last week and I'm kind of like still dealing with that. Could you maybe check back with me in a month or so? Let me just get through things. Right. So a month later, he gets back in touch with me and he goes, hey, so I don't know if you're aware, but your grandfather had other children with another woman. He had 6 other kids. Ooh. Three male and 3 female children.
It's a little messy.
And he says, so you've got aunts and uncles out there. And I'm just blown away because, my mother was their only child.
Okay.
My grandmother remarried and had another child. So I only ever knew my mom, one uncle who happens to be gay and doesn't have children. So I didn't have cousins and that kind of stuff. Right. So when my mom died, I just kind of felt like I'm all alone and I have no family. And boom, all of a sudden this guy's reaching out to me and
fixed.
So I contacted the ones that he could find. The reason he couldn't find 3 of them is they had already passed away, but he could find 3 of them. And I reached out to them. And I will tell you, man, that's another gift because those people are amazing. I mean, they just took me in. I have a huge family now, but they are loving. They knew of my mother. I thought my mom didn't know about them, but she did. They had met her. They knew her. They had her picture up in their home.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, it was crazy. But, that genealogy stuff, you got to be ready because it is messy. It's messy.
I dare any family, any individual to look into their family and find like clean, elegant.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. And
perfect family.
It just isn't. And we have to get over it.
Yeah.
And I just, in modern times, and even looking at it from today's point of view, like these things that are not convenient, not the way you would like them, they just are. And now you just have to deal with what is, and faster the better. So that way you're not creating damage.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when I was afraid, I own my own company and, I'm this prestigious person in people's eyes, to tell people that I have a kid that's in prison and that he's a drug addict. Because I was afraid of the perception people would have of me. But the fact of the matter is I one day will leave this earth and I will not have to wonder, did I do everything I could have for him? Because I did. And I know that more than enough. I tried my hardest, but people make their own choices. And the fact of the matter is like you said, every family's messy. And if somebody out there wants to say their family's perfect,
good for them. But I'm not going to research it, but I'll just guess that that's not the case.
Yeah.
With regards to your children and your son, something that I've had to really work through and learn, especially as children get older, is you've done your job as best you could.
Yeah.
And now it's up to them to live their lives. How was that for you? And obviously that was a true test of being able to let go. He is a grown adult making his own choices.
Mm-hmm.
What was that learning process for you? Because it's been challenging for me. Like, I wouldn't do that, but it's not my choice to make. It's their lives. I don't own them.
No.
Right. So.
But you still are their parents.
Right.
So your natural inclination is to at least want to guide them or give them advice, or let them know how you would do it. And you do it enough times and they don't want to hear it. And you finally just go, you're right.
Yeah. It's your life.
It's your life.
I'm just an observer now
Yeah.
at best. And I love you and I'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brenda, thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Where can we find your book? I would love to make sure that we include it in the link. And it seems like a fantastic resource because you're not the only one.
Oh, thank you. So it is available on Amazon. It's also at Barnes and Noble. It's called Why Are You My Grandmother? And I use my real name. So written by Brenda Siri and illustrated by Christy Patterson. The cover photo is one of my favorite pictures of Caden and I. He was sitting on my lap and I was holding him and something funny was said and we both threw our heads back and laughed. And he's such a blessing. He's not a mistake. And he is, part of the continuing, ancestry of my family.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'd love for anyone who, would like to pick it up, read it to, it's from Caden's perspective and it is about a child, but, there are grandparents that are helping to raise children. There are aunts and uncles who are helping to raise children, and there are lots of kids out there who just need to know that they're still loved,
It may not be their parent, but there's somebody that's there in their shoes, giving them the love and compassion.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. My name is TV with the Becoming Better Ancestors podcast. Make some choices today for yourself, for your family. Create some ripples for the generations to come. You have a choice. Let's do better.
Yep.
Till next time. Bye-bye.